What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. I don't have my camera operating at the moment. I'm having connectivity issues, unfortunately, but that's okay. We'll just keep it relative on the charts here. I've got some conflicting things I want to bring up with you guys in the charts, and by that I mean there are bullish and bearish things, and I want to bring them to the table so that you guys are better prepared for the upcoming price action that is going to take place, and it's going to be one way or another, up or down. I don't think that we can just move sideways forever. We are going to choose a direction, but are we going to go lower? Are we going to go higher? And there are indications across the boards that kind of show both scenarios being possible of happening. So first off, I guess we can talk about the price first off. If we take this from a high, nope, that's not the high. That is not the high. That's the low there. But all-time high to the cycle low period there. You can see that we found a little resistance in this 0.5 area, which isn't conventional, but tie that in with the fact that this is a previous area of support, previous area of support, previous area of support, a little bit of resistance here. We just found resistance in a price area that has been significant for quite some time now. On a fib perspective, seeing this is normal, but seeing this disrespect on the 382 is not really something that I'm happy about. I feel like that would mean that you would look for your next support level at the 236, which is at about $22,000. But I don't personally believe that we are going to go that low. We could. It would make sense from a fib perspective, but you don't have to touch those lines exactly. Like, they're ideas. It's not like a magnet or a brick wall. You can break through them. You can not quite touch them. They're just ideas. And sometimes they line up with other things. Sometimes they don't. If we take our monthly closing basis here, it's an opening basis too, and a closing basis here, and a closing and an opening over here. If we take this and put a line there, we take our weekly here, and we put a line at the weekly closes. Nope, that's a fib. That's not a line. A fib right there. We'll get this nice little range right between about 23,100 and 24,300. Somewhere around there is where I would expect that we find our low. Because if we take this fib away, remember the 236 is down here, right, at 22K. Right there. I'm going to delete that though. We're just going to, we're going to get rid of that entirely. But if we were to take a fib now of the overall move we've had up since November of last year, 2022, you can see that the 382 is right below where this weekly close line is. So to the bears, I would say that there are some significant areas below us that would make more sense, in my opinion. We've gotten close, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. So I would expect that we get into this zone. I don't think that we're going to bounce off this white line, and I don't think that we're going to touch this line. So I think somewhere in between here is where we will go. And on the weekly RSI, if you look at this, you can see that we're in some kind of like descending channel or trend line here, where you've got these highs coming in line. We are at the area where we would turn around and go lower on a weekly perspective. So that could mean, that could make things out to be a bearish October, unfortunately. To the flip side of that, if you want this to be bullish, have literally one green week. Have this week, we have 1 day and 5 hours left. Have this week be green, a little bit more green, so that it can close and break out of this descending channel. If it can do that, that would actually be very bearish. But for now, to me, it looks like we're at an area where we would turn around. And to me, that would indicate that within the coming weeks, by the end of this month, we very well could see prices below this previous low here at about $24,900. We really could be in this zone by the end of the month, if not sometime next month. But now for the bullish case, and I've labeled my reasons why I think we could go there. I think I've done a good enough job at that. So let's go for the bullish case. On the daily, this RSI, however, looks very bullish. You can see where we had a descending channel in the weekly. On the daily here, we have an ascending channel. Higher lows, higher highs. We are maintaining readings above the 60, right? We get below the 60 and it's like, just kidding, not really, just kidding, not really. Very nice to see. And it does look like here on the daily, yes, like we could go a little bit lower too, I would say. It looks like we could. And that could spell, for maybe like next week or so, I would say maybe in the beginning of the week, if not throughout all of next week, we might have some red side, sure. But I don't think it would be too dramatic. Or if we did go to those original prices I was talking about to the downside, it'd be a quick wick, and then we would close up enough to find support on this area. To flip this RSI bearishly, just how the other one was bearish and flipping it bullishly would be breaking above the line. If we were to break below this line, this whole idea of an uptrend in the daily would look bad as well. We will have some resolution of that. I mean, before like the mid-month, really. Like, we should have some resolution as to what we're going to do with this line by next week. Are we going to go up higher? Are we going to come down and bounce off it? We'll see. But all in all, this daily RSI does look really bullish, you guys. And we're doing something with this 123 moving average. That's what this purple line is up here. You know, it's got 1, 2, 3. If we were to double click it, the length is 123. That means it takes 123 bars. It takes the average closing, and then that's where the reading comes in. So if we go back in time here and we look at this, you can see that, you know, we have found resistance on it before. We have had little fake outs on it before. It's not 100% accurate all the time, but you find resistance, and you're hugging it, and then you broke out of it. And this is what you call a fake out, right? You broke out, but fake out went back down to the downside, and you had the classic repercussions of a fake out. It would have been easy to spot this fake out on one metric and one metric alone, and that's volume. If we look at the volume here, you can see that the volume coming into the move was bigger than it was at the end of the move when we had our next move up. We actually had a decrease in volume. The highest levels were back here, less volume over here. That should have been a sign that this was a fake out in itself. But you did break through the purple line, technically. It was a fake out, but it was a fake breakout. So you did break through it after hugging it, right? You came here, you didn't hug it. You literally bounced right off it and had a very positive reaction afterwards. Here, you bounced around the zone, kind of, bounced on it again. This is kind of like hugging. You're really starting to disrespect it here and hug it, and you actually went below it again. You know, you had a breakdown at this time. Instead of a breakout, you had a breakdown. A little bit of resistance here, but then you broke out, very positive reaction, came back down, held support. You're hugging it, and as you're hugging it, that gives you reason to believe that you can and will break below it. Resistance in this area, very, you know, immediate rejection, sure, but now we're finding a hug. Again, we are hugging this purple line, so I would expect that we do see a move, you know, to the upside based on this alone. So this is what I mean whenever, you know, I was saying in the very beginning that there are conflicting things going on in the charts. Because on the weekly, it definitely looks a lot more bearish. But if this daily can get bullish, and if this weekly can close, you know, if that daily gets bullish enough to where the weekly gets above this descending trend line, not that trend line, but this one here, you know, if we can break above this and continue to go higher, that would invalidate the bearish idea. Controversially to that, if we had a move that was something, you know, similar to this, I don't think that would be enough. You know, if we close where we are now for the week, and then sometime next week we have a move that looks like this, and then we come down, we could be in the midst of something that is going to take us below 25K in a very short amount of time. Like I said, by the end of the month is what I would expect. And there are signs to watch for that. You know, primarily overall market structure, of course, you know, on the prices. Like if you were to take a line here from your low, that's not the low. Come on now. From the low there, you know, if you break this line, that might be an indicator. Really, I don't like to use diagonal lines personally. I like looking at like high and low levels. So I would say if you close below this daily low here, you are likely going to break below this low. We are still overall in a downtrend. Every time that you can see here, high, higher, high. Okay, let me point out how this has gone for us in Bitcoin so far. High, higher, high, and then down. High, higher, high, and then down. You know, here we are, high, higher, high. Could we go down from here? It's absolutely possible. We're at an immense area of support and resistance, you know, throughout the whole last year basically. So if we break out and we have decreasing volume, look for that, guys. It was a sign before. It was a sign back here. Look for that, you know. And I think that might be what's upon us right now. So I don't know that move above this line, if we are to get it. It can happen, I would think, sometime in the beginning of next week, at some point next week, and then we probably close the week red if it were to match up with this weekly. But again, that can all change. That can all change. If we got a day and 4 hours left, if we can close this week in the green by a little bit, you know, it does not by like 0.43% in the green, but by like a percent or two. That's all it would really take for this to have a break of this descending trend line. Now, can things still turn around? Sure, but it would just start to look a lot more bullish. And then, you know, for things to look bearish on the daily, all it would take is a break of this descending trend line on the RSI, a close below this low down here at about $26,080. You know, that's about $1,800 away. So Bitcoin can do that in a day, no problem. It literally had a day just like that over here. So things to watch for, you guys. Definitely things to watch for. If I had to guess, if I had my best guess about me, I would say I do think that sometime in the beginning of next week we have a little bit of a move up that takes us above 28,000. We probably have a day or two that closes above 28,000, and people are going to be excited. They're going to be like, oh, I told you, you know, this is what we needed. And then we're going to roll around. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something exactly like this Man, the RSI even looks similar. Look at this. You got like an ascending trend. You're hanging out above the 60 here, and then you rolled over. You had your higher high right here, and you found resistance at your overbought zone, right? Look for that, man. Decreasing volume, resistance on your overbought zone. If I can get it, there we go. You know, if we come up, we find resistance on this overbought zone, have a higher high, but prices decrease or volumes decreasing, that could be a very strong signal that we are going to see a fake out. Yeah, anyways, I feel like I'm repeating myself. I think I've said enough. Definitely stuff to watch for. It should be an interesting week. I think we're going to get some resolution one way or another. I would love it. I've got enough of my bags packed, man. I would love it if we just saw a breakout to the upside. I'm definitely not a bear monger, but I'm also not going to be upset if it goes down because I do have some cash on the side ready to buy a couple different cryptos at lower prices. So that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.